Abstract Expressionism, Pop Art and Op Art. World events in the mid-20th century immensely influenced the course of human life, and with it, the course of art history. World War I and World War II, in particular, shifted the political, economic, and cultural world stage away from Europe and onto the New World continent, America. The New York School. In the 1920s and 1930s, aspiring young American painters, sculptors, and writers sailed to Europe to expand their horizons. But during the dark days of World War II, a reverse migration brought European scientists, architects, and artists to American shores. New York, in particular, became a haven for the newly arrived artists and their American counterparts. The result was the establishment of what came to be known as the New York School, as opposed to the School of Paris, that had been very influential in Europe. The daring young artists in this movement succeeded in creating their own synthesis of Europe's Cubist and Surrealist styles. Their style came to be known as Abstract Expressionism. Action painting. One form of abstract expressionism was seen in the works of Jackson Pollock. These were created through what came to be known as action painting. Pollock worked on huge canvases spread on the floor, splattering, squirting, and dribbling paint with seemingly no pre-planned pattern or design in mind. The total effect is one of vitality, creativity, energy made visible. Pollock's first one-man show in New York in 1943 focused worldwide attention on abstract expressionism for the first time. Color-filled painting. In contrast to the vigorous gestures of the action painters, another group of artists who came to be known as color-filled painters used different colors, saturations, purity, vividness, intensity to create their desired effects. Some of their works were huge fields of vibrant color, as in the paintings of Mark Rothko and Barnett Newman. Others took the more intimate pictograph approach, filling the canvas with repeating picture fragments or symbols, as in the works of Adolf Gottlieb and Lee Krasner. After the New York School by the early 1960s, the momentum of the New York School slowed down. In its place, a new crop of artists came on the scene using lighter treatment and flashes of humor, even irreverence, in their artworks. The movements they brought about to have come to be called Neo-Dadaism and pop art, conceptual art, op art, and the new realism. And as your topic in grade 10 art, we will be dealing with the first three. Neo-Dadaism and pop art. Like the Dadaist movement that arose after World War I, the Neo-Dadaism of the 1960s wanted to make reforms in traditional values. It also made use of commonplace, trivial, even nonsensical objects. But unlike the angry, serious tone of the original Dadaists, the Neo-Dadaists seemed to enjoy nonsense for its own sake and simply wanted to laugh at the world. Their works ranged from paintings, to posters, to collages, to three-dimensional assemblages and installations. This made use of easily recognizable objects and images from the emerging consumer society, as in the prints of Andy Warhol. Their inspirations were the celebrities, advertisements, billboards, and comic strips that were becoming commonplace at that time. Hence, the term pop from popular art emerged. Roy Lichtenstein was an American pop artist during the 1960s, along with Andy Warhol, Jasper Johns, and James Rosenquist, among others. He became a leading figure in this new art movement. Conceptual art. As the term implies, conceptual art was that which arose in the mind of the artist, took concrete form for a time, and then disappeared unless it was captured in photo or film documentation. Conceptualists questioned the idea of art as objects to be bought and sold. Instead, they brought their artistic ideas to life temporarily, using such unusual materials as grease, blocks of ice, food, even just plain dirt. A key difference between a conceptual artwork and a traditional painting or sculpture is that the conceptualist's work often requires little or no physical craftsmanship. Much of the artist's time and effort goes into the concept or idea behind the work, with the actual execution then being relatively quick and simple. An example is this conceptual art piece by Kossuth. One and Three Chairs by Joseph Kossuth. An actual chair, which is in the center, with a photograph of the same chair and an enlarged copy of a dictionary definition of a chair. Op art. Another movement that emerged in the 1960s was optical art, or op art. This was yet another experiment in the visual experience, a form of action painting, with the action taking place in the viewer's eye. In op art, lines, spaces, and colors were precisely planned and positioned to give the illusion of movement. As the eye moved over different segments of the image, perfectly stable components appeared to shift back and forth, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, as the brain responded to the optical data. Viewers experienced sensations varying from discomfort to disorientation to giddiness. Thank you for watching! Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe! Annyeong!